talk about how you sort of got started with Etsy, and then how you eventually found your way into this role of the shop doc?
Sure. It's kind of long, and it might seem a little irrelevant at the beginning, but it actually started back in college. I was going for an associate's in computer-aided drafting and design to be an engineer major, following in my father's footsteps. And one of my friends who was in all of my classes, our second year in, was just like, I'm going to drop out and make glass beads and sell them on Etsy. He does not know how to do anything with glass. He'd never had a kiln. He'd never had anything. And I was like, you're crazy. You're just going to drop out of college and go, what is Etsy? I was like, what? This was like back in like 2010.
Yeah.
And he did it. He dropped out and he started selling beads, and I thought he was crazy, and I followed suit. I was like, this might be crazy enough to work. And I'm really good at CAD and engineering, but it's not my passion. I don't want to sit for 8 hours at a desk doing it. I can. It makes good money. I'm good at it, but I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah.
So I just started, I got married in 2010, and then I started crafting. I just started making necklaces and bracelets just to kind of like get spending cash. And Jace was like, sell your stuff on Etsy. So I started it, and it was horrible. It was so bad. My pictures were terrible. My SEO was terrible. My products were terrible. And it took a lot of learning. This was back in the day when they did things called B&Rs and B&Bs, which were treasuries. They don't even do treasuries on Etsy anymore. And you would buy into a treasury and you would get sold out, and it was crazy. But so I started my Etsy shop, and I was selling all kinds of jewelry. And then, or actually that's a lie, I wasn't selling anything. I was making it and I was posting it, and it wasn't selling. Everything about a business was going on except the money-making part. So I thought that maybe it was my pricing. So I started thinking I needed lower priced items in my shop. These things called wire ear cuffs were coming out, and I was like, I can do that. So I made a wire ear cuff, and it sold. So I reposted it, and it sold again. I'm like, well, it's just because it's the cheapest thing. And then it was like the only thing selling in my shop. And I was like, fine. You guys want ear cuffs? I'll give you ear cuffs. And then I would get a request. Can you make a nose ring? Yes. Wire in a circle. There you go. Here's the nose ring. And then they're like, all right, can you do a lip ring? I'm like, it's just a bigger nose ring. And so it was just listening to the customers, and there was something about what I was doing that they weren't finding somewhere else. And I was running with it.